this is how I'm feeling, and I don't like it. I was like, I don't like the fact that I'm turning into someone who's like, hi guys, welcome back to Couples in the Ring. Josh, you know that I can see the screen, right? And I know when I can start talking. You don't have to go 5, 4, 3. He acts like we're on like a news channel or something.
I'm making sure we're good.
Yes, but I can see when I can talk. I can see me fade in.
Okay.
So
that's fair. I just didn't want you to start.
I can see.
Okay.
I can see when you press start recording, and I can see myself also.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
I apologize. You continue though.
So we changed the camera quality a little bit because I noticed in the first episode it was a little bit like it didn't look bad until I like uploaded it.
Yeah.
And I lowered the mic too because I felt like my whole face was covered.
That would be the first 2 episodes will probably be like that. So this is the 3rd. So everybody, welcome back to Couples in the Ring. This is the 3rd episode. We've been really banging these out, to be honest. It's actually really nice because Karlee and myself have been like, she's been actually asking to record more than I have.
Yeah, because it's therapy.
It is. Honestly, it's really nice. It's I'm really happy with the format change because we kind of get to come on here and just talk about whatever instead of having like a dedicated thing. And we were actually talking about this after the last episode where we were saying like, oh, we're just better off just bouncing off of each other.
True, yeah.
As opposed to like having something planned. We're just like kind of better at going with the flow, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. But without further ado, we're going to get into today's episode. You have anxiety? Well, we're not even live.
I know.
Interesting. Okay. Well.
The devil just wants to stop me from doing what I'm called to do.
Exactly. The beautiful part is that you can just get up and go.
True.
So anyway, welcome back to Couples in the Ring, everybody. We're happy to have you back. If you've been enjoying the reincarnation of the podcast so far, be sure to leave this leave a thumbs up. Is that the right
word? Reincarnation?
I think so. Is it?
I guess brought back to life. I guess.
Yeah.
Or
right.
Is that resurrected?
Ooh. Anyway, you know what I'm trying to say. Make sure to leave a thumbs up, leave a comment, let us know how you guys are enjoying it. And we're going to get into the podcast right now. Karlee has some more venting she wants to do, so this is perfect for you guys. Hope you enjoy this episode, and let's get into it.
Yeah, so I don't really know. I know what I'm going to talk about, but from doing the first and second episode, I never really talked about the feelings that come along with it, and I guess I'll just say this right now that anything I'm saying was how I was feeling in the moment, and it doesn't mean it's correct. It doesn't mean it's right. It doesn't mean that what I'm saying is like legitimately how I'm feeling like logically, but when you're going through grief, your feelings can be not right. And I'm basically here just to talk about how when you're going through grief, this could be through anything. This could be like, it doesn't have to be child loss specifically. It can even be like a friend, a family member, anyone, your grandma. When you go through grief, it's hard because everyone's life continues and your entire world stopped, and you're frustrated because no one is feeling the way you're feeling. And I guess through this grief, I've had 2 choices. I could either make myself bitter and continue to be bitter for the rest of my life, or I could acknowledge how I'm feeling, realize that it's not how reality is, and then fix myself and come out stronger instead of coming out bitter. There's 2 ways you can come out, like bitter or not. And I had a lot of conflicting feelings because I was getting bitter at watching, and this is going to sound bad, and it's not that I was wishing harm on other people, because I would never, but I wanted people to hurt the way I was feeling and hurt the way that I was hurting. And normal Karlee, that is not in the middle of grief, doesn't want anybody to hurt. But when you're hurting so freaking bad that you feel like you're the only one feeling like that, you want other people to hurt.
No,
which
I get it.
It sounds coming out of my mouth so horrible to want other people to hurt. Yeah. Because I don't want other people to hurt.
No, for sure.
And that's the confusing part of this whole thing is half of my brain was like, oh, I want this person to like fail. I want this person to be bad. I want this person to like struggle like me. And I want this person to know how I'm feeling. But then the other part of me, the normal Karlee, the one that's thinking logically, because half of my brain is, I'm still me. I still know what's right and wrong. But I'm still feeling this way without even trying. The other half of me is like, no, you don't. You don't want anyone to feel like this. You don't want anyone to hurt. You want what's best for everyone else. But then I'm so angry that why do they get everything and I don't?
This is where I feel like a lot of people who leave like hate comments this is where they're at in life.
Yes.
It literally it goes to show like most of those people are probably genuinely unhappy or like bitter about something, right? So
it really made me realize that most people are probably, because I could have became that person. I could have became someone that left hate comments and was angry and mean and whatever. And I felt like I was turning into that person. I really like truly, if I didn't have a good, I don't know, head on top of my shoulders,
yeah,
I would have been absolutely a miserable person.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of people, like, I think everybody could kind of come to that realization that a lot of people that leave those kind of comments are like that. But then I feel like because you actually went through it, you're able to see the other side and be like, oh, I get it.
Right, like I've been getting hate comments for 10 years.
Yeah.
And I never understood. I was like, I don't understand. Like even though I knew people were always saying like the people that leave hate comments are just miserable with themselves and
you can't
want people to hurt. I never really understood it.
Right.
But then when this happened to me, I was like, oh wait, it makes me feel really bad for these people because these people feel like this all the time.
Right, and they're
actually
continuing
miserable people. They don't come out of it.
I know.
Which I want to make it clear, I've never left a hate comment, but
no.
In my head when I was seeing, so it was hard because I was pregnant. I had like my pregnant online friends that were pregnant at the same time as me. And we would like ask each other questions and we both did IVF or whatever. And then I saw people's pregnancy continue when mine stopped. So I was angry and I was like wanting in my head, I was like, I want them to feel what I'm feeling. But I didn't want them to actually lose their child.
No, of course not.
But in my head, I'm like, I want them, it sounds horrible, but I wanted them to like literally feel how I was feeling.
Right.
And I almost wished that other people went through this, which is disgusting to even think that I thought.
I mean, it's good that you're self-aware at least where you can like...
I was self-aware the entire time.
Right.
I told you these things.
I know you did. And I was, I never went through that stage of grief or of like
also
feeling. It's different though.
It might look like I'm crying, but I just poked my eye and it is hurting really bad and it's only this eye, so just to let you know. Ow.
But yeah, I think it's good that you're self-aware, obviously, because unfortunately there's a lot of people who will never exit that part of their life, that bitterness. And we talked about this portion too, is it's like, how there's people who like they go through something and then they want to stay there, like they want to be like
they want to
stay upset. Yeah, they want people to feel like bad for them and and they don't want to leave it, right?
Yes.
I feel like those are the same people that just can't get out of that stage. It's like I want to feel bad. I want to like get buried in this and then like make it my whole identity, which is like you can't do that.
No, you literally cannot. And as much as like, I mean, I'm gonna forever grieve. I'm literally gonna go my entire life every single day thinking about my son.
Yes.
There's not gonna be a day that doesn't.
Right.
But I can't continue to sit here and just feel bad for myself because it's already happened and there's nothing I can do about it. So I might as well come out of it learning things. And I'm gonna say this right now, there's no positive that came out of this. I'm not gonna say, oh well, thank God this happened because this happened and I'm stronger and I'm that. There's no positive that came out of this. There's nothing in the world that could be so positive that came out of this that I'd be like, oh, that was worth it. Like absolutely nothing. But because it already happened, I have two options. I literally can sit here and be angry.
Yep.
Which I'll always be angry, but I can sit here and let it literally become who I am.
Like, take over your whole life.
Or I can be like, self-aware of it and be like, oh, now I have an understanding of every hate comment.
Right.
You are so miserable.
Yeah.
To leave a hate comment, you have to be like, and like I said, I never really understood it, but now I totally get it. It's like you have to be so miserable with yourself.
Yes.
Because when this happened, I was frankly just pissed off at the world.
Especially to leave them, like, repeatedly.
Oh, yeah.
Like, not just one.
Right.
You've been leaving them for years.
And, like, to go out of your way and, like, make, like, a fake account.
Yes.
That's, like, user 125. Like, is insane.
There's people that jump platforms.
It's insane.
Like, they'll be on YouTube and all of a sudden they're on TikTok.
Right.
And then they're in your Instagram messages.
Right, and then you block them and they make a new account. And you're
I
like,
know.
Dude, you made a whole new email and did a confirmation and everything.
Just to be a hater?
Is insane.
Yeah, that's like
it's a mental illness.
Genuinely, I think,
I'm
like...
not joking either.
No, like, I genuinely think, like, a lot of those people... If you are one of those people...
They're leaving one right now.
Oh, yeah, they're
like, I'm not angry.
No.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. You have no idea. No, like, you genuinely, like, I do feel sorry for people that are like that. Like, my whole life, no matter any trials, tribulations, whatever I've been through, nothing, I've never once been like, I'm gonna go fucking leave a hate comment. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
And even before I was, like, a known person on social media, I never left a hate comment.
Right.
If I didn't like something, I just was like, oh, I might talk about it, might maybe give it, the most I've ever done is probably give it a thumbs down. Like, I'm talking the most.
Yeah.
And even that, I don't really do.
Rarely. Like, people who go and dislike videos.
I'll post a video within 5 seconds.
I'm like, damn.
No, they're literally there
bots.
just to do it.
I think a lot of them are bots, to be honest. Like, they're just designed to go dislike videos.
I don't know.
I don't get it.
Anyways.
Yeah, continue.
Back to the topic.
Yes.
I guess, like, another thing too is, I mean, there's so much. I felt like this why me pity party, which valid, yeah. I think. I mean, the worst part that I think that happened to me is I was starting to judge other people. I can't say it and I want to so bad, but what I was thinking about was, like, how healthy these people were and how come they're unhealthy in a bunch of ways and they get a healthy baby. I'm sorry to say it and I'm gonna say it aloud, don't care. Why does the crackhead on the corner who does crack the whole pregnancy have a healthy pregnancy?
Yeah.
Their baby is gonna detox and whatever, and I understand, and it's I'm not saying that they're just choosing to do that.
Right,
I understand.
Right.
And the fact that I even have to defend myself during this is, like, insane, but
yeah.
This is not what I'm thinking right now.
No, this was your bitter face.
This is in the middle of anger.
Yeah.
And how disgusting of a person being hurt can make you.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I was literally like, why does this person get a baby? Why does I was like, I work out, I eat healthier than, like, everyone I know, I take these vitamins, I'm in tune with my body, why do I have all of these problems? And the person who literally is not healthy in any way.
Yeah.
Like, I'm talking, like, at all.
Yeah.
Have a perfectly healthy pregnancy. No,
I get it. I totally, and when you were having those thoughts too, I was like, you know, obviously, I let you do what you need to do. The only reason why I wasn't, like, kiboshing what you were saying or whatever the terminology is was, like, because I knew that you were self-aware.
Yeah, I kept telling Josh, I was like, this is how I'm feeling, and I don't like it. I was like, I don't like the fact that I'm turning into someone who's, like, mad at other people for having what I want, because that's not me.
Right.
I mean, you could be jealous for somebody and still be happy for them. That's, like, totally valid. Like, the thing with infertility and, like, everything is, frankly, when my friends tell me they're pregnant, I am jealous, and that's just a fact. But does it mean I'm not happy for them? Absolutely not. I go to their baby showers. I'm involved in their children's life. Yeah. I want them to have a healthy pregnancy, but I'm jealous. And you can have both of those things at once. And I feel like growing up, every single time someone hated you, they're like, oh, they're jealous of you. And most of the time, I would say all the time that's true. If someone hates you for no reason, they're probably jealous of you.
Right.
But jealousy doesn't always have to be, especially when you're older. You could be jealous and happy for someone at the same time.
Yeah, like, I genuinely think, like, and obviously I'm not involved in this community, like, you are, but, like, I feel like a lot of the infertility community is basically that. It's like you're struggling the same way other people are, and then when they finally get that thing that you both want, it's like you're jealous as fuck, but you're like, I still have to be happy for you.
And I genuinely am happy for them, because when it happens to me, I want people to be happy for me.
Right.
And I know the feeling they had. Like, I know it was hard. I know their struggle.
It's especially, I feel like it starts to get really, really upsetting is when like these, like there will be somebody who's like, you know, doing everything right. Like you're saying, like, oh, you work out, you eat right, and blah, 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 blah. And then like they go to get like an egg retrieval, and there's like, I don't know, they don't have any eggs that turn into embryos or something.
Right.
Or they only get like 1 or 2.
Right.
And they're like, well, I did everything right, so why does this person get? And I get it. I get being in that mindset. It's
like, I even knew that my IVF results from my first round is insane.
Yeah, they were really good.
The fact that we had 11 embryos from one try, when some people don't get any, some people get 1, some people get 2.
Yeah.
I know that I was lucky.
Yes.
But this whole situation, it was so hard, because half the time I was crying because I was sad, and the other time I was crying because I was like, am I going to be this like hateful, jealous, honestly piece of shit person for the rest of my life?
Yeah.
Am I going to, it was to the point where it sounds horrible. I was blocking and unfollowing my fellow IVF friends who got pregnant. I was blocking them.
Yeah.
And the good thing about it is I had a lot of my IVF friends message me personally and be like, I understand if you need to like mute my posts or unfollow me for a time, which is so sweet. And
it's the people who genuinely, you don't even have to be someone who's went through this to just be like sympathetic and like just think about, like, it's like, for example, I'm just going to spin it off in maybe a way somebody else can understand it. It's like, if I have a friend and I know that they're struggling financially, and all over my Instagram I'm posting money and Lamborghinis and this and that and whatever. Right. And it's like, I should be understanding of like, hey, if you need to distance yourself from me for a little while because I know this is probably going to piss you off. It's a way far out example.
Yeah, very, but
it's not even comparable, but you know what I'm saying. Just for something, for somebody else to maybe understand it, is like, I feel like more people should be aware of their surroundings and aware of like situations and like take that into account.
I'm all for that. Everyone's gonna be triggered by something, and I totally understand that, especially. I mean, I do YouTube. I'm pretty aware that everything I say will piss someone off.
Yeah.
But the one thing going through this that I've told Josh many times is I'm tired of how it always feels like, especially with infertility, I always have to understand, people don't know. People don't know the questions. People, like, when I announced I was pregnant, everyone was like, oh, thank God you waited till 12 weeks or you're in the clear.
Yeah.
And I always said there is no safe point. There's not even a safe point after you give birth, because anything can happen to your child anytime.
Right.
But there's no safe point in pregnancy, and that's a fact. And I didn't have to experience child loss before I said that.
Yeah, no, you were aware.
But the problem is people with, especially infertility, is I always have to understand other people. Like, when a friend announces that they're pregnant to you, for example, I think if you have a friend that's going through infertility, you shouldn't announce that you're pregnant to them in person. I just don't.
You should not, or should?
No, you should not. You should text them, because they're not going to want to show their real emotions to you face to face.
Right. They're going to be upset.
They're going to be upset, and they're going to have to hide it.
Yeah.
Until they come home.
Right.
Or they might break down right in front of you, and you're going to be like, oh, so you're not happy for me, and you're not this, and you're not that, or you're jealous, especially in a public setting with like multiple people. Like, if you know one of your friends are struggling with infertility, you should send them a text, and it should be nice. It shouldn't be like, hey, guess what? I'm pregnant. No. And you know what everyone's going to say? Like I said, everyone is like, you should understand them, and they don't understand, and they don't go what you're going through. Okay, but how come I'm always having to understand? Well, they don't understand, and they don't get it, and they don't understand. Why do I have to always understand what they're going through and what their understanding of infertility is, but they don't ever have to understand mine?
No, I agree.
Why?
Yeah.
Why? Like, for example, if one of my friends have a baby right now, I don't want to go see their baby. And that's not because I don't love their baby and I don't love them. It's just mentally too hard for me. I don't want to see your newborn baby right now. I don't want to see babies at all.
Right. Because
all I think about is, that should be my baby, and that should be, and Luca should be here, and Luca should be that age, and Luca should be in my arms, and why do you get your baby in yours? And guess what? That's just a valid thing. But you know what? a lot of people are going to say, well, that's not fair. You should be seeing their baby because it's not their fault that you don't have yours, and it's not their fault. I understand, but when are they going to understand mine?
Right.
Why is it always a me understanding them and them never understanding me?
No, I understand that. That's valid. That's a valid concern. It is.
And I feel like this whole, like, even if you don't have infertility, think about when you're pregnant and everyone says, oh, you think you're tired now? Wait until you have the baby. Think about how annoying that is.
Mm-hmm.
But imagine you're like actually struggling with infertility and people are constantly saying, oh, you can have my kids. You want my kids? They're annoying. You want my kids? You know how fucking rude that is? Oh, you can take my kids. They keep me up all night. Sorry that you're struggling. You want my kids? They're annoying. Like,
yeah. And to them, it's like, again, it's like, I know the other side is like, oh, to them it's harmless, and it's like, oh, whatever, it's just a joke.
Right.
But to you, it's like, why do I have to deal with that all the time?
Right. Why can't it, if I have to be forced to understand your feelings, why can nobody be forced to understand mine?
Right.
And it's not like there's a difference between like being just like triggered in public. Like, for example, when I'm out in public and when I am going into a store and it's hard for me to go into that store because the last time I was in that store, I was looking at baby clothes. And as I'm walking into the store, this actually happened. A pregnant woman and her friend with a baby in a stroller, so double trigger, walked into the store at the same time as me. And I was already crying in the car beforehand, trying to get into the store because I knew the last time I was there, I was looking for baby clothes. That's a trigger that is just my own problem.
Right.
I'm not going to be like, how dare you walk into the store?
No, and you know what? I'm actually really glad you made that point, because I was going to say that I already know what people's responses are going to be is like, well, if you're triggered by just regular shit, just don't go in public, stay home and just shut up and blah, 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 blah. But I'm glad you're like self-aware again and saying like, I know that everything that people are going to do can't trigger me, and if it does, I have to deal with it. Right. But there are certain things that you're just like
when it's a friend or family member, or I'm sorry, but I'm going to start correcting older women. Because older women are horrible.
They're the worst.
When are you going to have kids? When are you going to get married? And I'm talking for everything. Like, when are you going to have kids? When are you going to get married? Oh, like the moment we got married, almost all of Josh's family asked when we were going to have kids.
Yeah.
And again, I understand that generation, infertility and miscarriages were a huge taboo topic.
Yeah.
A lot of our older family and friends might have actually experienced some of those things, but it was a taboo topic and almost embarrassing because you were so pushed to be married and have kids, especially
back then,
like our grandparents.
Yeah.
And having a kid before marriage was also taboo. So,
but the thing is it's like, when, like you were saying, like, when does the having to deal with ignorance stop? Like, if everybody's thinking like the same thing as you, oh, I hate when my grandma or grandpa always bring up blah blah blah, right? And it's like they never shut up about it.
Mm-hmm.
But when is there going to be a time where we can just be like, hey grandpa, shut the fuck up?
Well, I'm at that point right
now. Learn. I know you're old and you don't give a fuck, but it's like, it starts to become a thing where when people are just showing ignorance over and over and over again, you're never going to want to be around them, and they're going to be like, well, why doesn't Karlee come around anymore? It's like they don't understand what they're actually doing. So like, when does it come the time where people can tell them?
And frankly, I've brought this up before where I'm like, I bring it up to someone and I'm like, I don't know why they keep saying that. And my own Nana, she's probably watching this, love you, but she said, well, that's just the normal question that people ask after you get married. And my thing is, isn't it weird that your own family wants to know when you're having unprotected sex? That's weird to me. No, I'm serious.
Yeah.
When are you going to have kids? Well, we had unprotected sex 5 times this month. Great, Grandma. And it's not happening. Do you want to help me? Do you want to give me some tips?
Yeah.
Like,
and then they'll say, just relax.
Oh, don't get me started. Do not get me started.
Yeah, I know.
When people that have not experienced infertility try and give me tips, it drives me insane. For example, if you don't own a house, don't give someone, like, are you going to take advice from a homeless man on how to buy a house? No, you're just not.
Yeah.
Or how to save money and invest. No, you're not. You're just not. So don't give advice to someone that you've never experienced it unless they ask for it.
Right.
For asking for it, sure. But you know how stupid it sounds to say, oh, just relax.
There's a difference between giving someone advice and giving someone unsolicited advice.
Yes,
That's
totally.
the worst thing. Like it, and you know what? This is something also that you have to. This is something even I have to learn is when somebody is bringing something up to vent versus bringing something up to just get advice, right? Like there's a difference because there's been a lot of times like even maybe my friends or family or whatever will tell me something and my number one thing is okay,
let's help them out.
Let's help them. Let's give them advice. And I'm not even like I'm saying I'm qualified to do so. I'm just saying like, oh, in my opinion, this is my advice. Maybe this will help them point them in the right direction that I think. But like, I do have to understand too, and I'm guilty of this. I'm not going to say like I don't do this. I need to make sure that I'm understanding, okay, hey, are you just trying to vent to me right now or do you want me to say something back?
Right.
Yeah.
I think another thing too is a lot of people are probably going to, because only 1 in 5 people experience infertility, the majority of the people watching right now will not relate.
Right.
And I know in the comments you want to defend yourself, but if you want to grow as a person, you should actually take what I'm saying and not get offended by it.
Yeah.
You should actually, because 1 in 5 people, including men and women, experience infertility, there's probably someone you know in your life that is going to experience either a miscarriage, trouble getting pregnant, something, and you might not even know.
Yeah.
So maybe just take the advice because it's like when someone, and here, let's do it from the opposite way. If you're a mother, when someone who's not a mother gives you advice
on how to raise kids,
on how to raise your kid, it drives you insane.
Right. Facts.
Infertility is literally a disease. It is diagnosed as a disease. It's not just God's timing, and it's not just relax, and it's not just, there's a medical reason. That's like someone who gets diagnosed with a disease and you're like, just relax, it might go away. No, it needs medical intervention.
Yeah.
And it is not God's timing. Right. And it doesn't mean I'm not supposed to be a mother. That's like someone who gets diagnosed with a deadly disease and you're like, well, just don't get treatment because it was God's plan and maybe you're just not meant to be here.
And dude, even one that even bothers me is like you're spending all this money, why not just adopt?
First of all, adoption is tens of thousands of dollars.
Right.
I don't want people to think you can just adopt for free.
And I do want to make a point here. Do you think me and her are going to qualify to adopt a child?
They do a complete background check.
Do you know what part of what the job is that we do? Do you know?
Do you know?
You've seen her in a different light than this. Let's get fucking real here for a minute. Like, you can't just leave a comment saying, "Well, just adopt for fuck's sake." What are you doing? Like,
you don't know what you're talking about.
Like, be real.
Like, actually do research before you comment something.
Yeah, no, and the thing is like, taking all of this too is, and I know people are probably gonna think like, well, fuck, now I gotta tiptoe around everybody I know because your feelings get hurt, and it's like, listen, man, it's I'm the same way. It's like, I don't want to have to tiptoe around everybody I know. But again,
and it's only the people that are in your personal life that are being open about it.
And like, really,
just don't ask people when they're having kids. Just shut the fuck up.
And it's like this conversation is something that it should be pretty easy to avoid. It's like, you don't have to talk about this.
Yeah.
Unless that person is bringing it up and like telling you things and whatever and opening the discussion. Okay, maybe you'll be okay to ask a question here or there. And again, I'm not somebody who struggles with this, and I'm not on the other side. So I'm just telling as like,
well, as a couple, we have infertility.
Correct, we do. Yes, but I'm not like on the woman's side where like, if somebody was talking about infertility in front of me, more than likely it might not offend me. Like, it would offend you. Like, realistically, like, I'm not gonna. It will offend me because I know me and my wife had to do what we had to do to get pregnant. But at the same time, it's like, you're going to feel a different type of way than I will.
Yes.
It's just how it is. You know what I mean?
It's obvious.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to find something from my doctor on his Instagram. Sorry.
Oh, okay. That's fine. Yeah. But anyway, we're not saying you have to tiptoe around everybody. It's just like what the things that we're talking about right now I feel like are very easy topics to avoid just bringing up. Like,
right.
I don't know. And again, it's like you don't know what everybody's going through on a day-to-day basis. And it's like, the thing is I've thought, you ever been like sitting somewhere, like in a doctor's office, and like an old lady sitting next to you and she goes, "Oh, what are you here for?"
Yep.
Just
and you're like, just shut up.
So nosy.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. I'm not sitting across from someone and be like, "Oh, what are you here for, buddy?"
No.
Like, no, just mind your own fucking business. That's the key takeaway here. Mind your own business. That's it. Unless it's brought to you and somebody's asking you for advice or an opinion or feedback, just mind your business. That's the simplest way to not have to tiptoe around. Just mind it.
I think too is like infertility is such a rising, I guess, disease.
Yeah.
Like it was 1 in 6 last year. Now it's 1 in 5, and they think that in like 2 years it's gonna be 1 in 4, which is 25% of people.
That's crazy.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah, it is. It is
a huge amount of people actually.
Yeah.
And I think,
is that a North American statistic or is that a worldwide statistic? Do you know? Like the 1 in 5? Like where do they pull that from?
Probably North America, I would say.
I'm going to look while we're talking. I want to see.
I was trying to find the post that Dr. Victory posted about it. But yeah, the stats did go lower this year. It was 1 in 6 and now it's 1 in 5.
Mm-hmm.
And it's 1 in 5 couples, which actually means it's two out of 10 people.
Right.
Put it that way if you take away the couple.
Okay, so what I found, this is from the CDC. Where did that just go? In the United States, among married women age 15 to 49 years old with no prior births, about 1 in 5 are unable to get pregnant after 1 year of trying. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a lot of people.
1 in 5. I think they're actually just talking about women here.
Right. So think about men also.
Yeah. Like we're not talking about like having low sperm count or like bad sperm or like whatever, right? This is specifically just women. So out of one out of every 5 women you encounter will have infertility or struggle with infertility. I'm sorry.
That's crazy. And 1 in 4 pregnancies result in a loss. That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like this isn't something that you're like, oh, it's just 1 in every couple hundred people. No, like this is a lot of people. This means it's someone you know. I'm sorry to tell you, but someone you know has experienced pregnancy loss or infertility. Just a fact.
Yeah.
If you tried for a year and a half to get pregnant, you had infertility. After a year, you have infertility. It doesn't mean you'll never get pregnant. Infertility just means longer than a year. So, for example, I have infertility, but there's people that have infertility for 10 years and they get pregnant naturally.
Yeah.
You're not actually, as long as you're ovulating, you're never really not fertile. Like there's always a chance. We know this.
Right.
So truthfully, the word infertile really doesn't exist unless you're sterile. Like you don't have eggs and you don't have sperm.
Right.
If you have sperm and you have eggs, you have a chance.
Right.
Every time you have sex, you have a chance.
Yes.
But I guess this whole thing is just, honestly, it started off as something else, but it ended into...
I think it's important to kind of touch on anything that was bothering you in this episode, right? It was more like just a free reign of like, let's just air it out, which is good. Because these are things that you've probably said in a video here and there, but putting them all together to like show everything is like, it's good. It's healthy. It's healthy to vent.
I just think the most important thing out of this whole thing for me was to talk about how much of a shitty person I was for a little while.
And it's good that you are aware of that.
Like when I tell you I was fucking pissed at everyone that walked past me.
Yes, but you weren't a shitty person to people.
No.
Though. Like
I never acted on it.
Right, but that's what I mean. Like no one would have looked at you and been like, wow, Karlee's a real piece of shit.
But in my head, I was judging people.
Yeah, you had thoughts.
I was wishing harm on them. I was like, do you get this? why are you unhealthy with all these health problems and this, that, and the other, and you don't give a shit about your health, but you're pregnant? Yeah, I was fucking mad. I don't drink alcohol because I'm terrified. I mean, I used to, but I haven't drank alcohol in over a year because I'm terrified that if I don't get pregnant or if my transfer doesn't work, I'm going to sit there and blame that one sip of alcohol. And people don't understand that that's like the way that I think. Like, even when I was pregnant, people were like, oh, well, I ate deli meat the whole time I was pregnant and my baby's fine. Just because your child is fine when you did something doesn't mean that every child is going to be fine.
Right.
For the people that are like, oh, well, I let everyone touch my kid when they were a newborn, and I let the grandparents kiss the baby, and I let this and that. It doesn't matter what you did with your baby, because there are babies that didn't survive that, and there are pregnancies that were lost because of that. And if you know better, you do better. Right. And that's just a fact. Like, people thought I was crazy for not eating bagged salad. Well, you know how hard it was for me to get pregnant? If I can avoid a bagged salad and just take an extra step and cut it, and it will possibly save my child. I don't think people understand that bagged salad and produce that is unwashed is the number one reason for food poisoning. On top of eggs, because everyone thinks it's eggs, on top of meat, on top of eggs, on top of sushi, unwashed produce is the number one cause of food poisoning. And food poisoning can cause fetal loss in the womb. Because you could become, it might not affect you that much, but it will affect your baby. I'm not here to scare people, but I'm here to educate you, because some people have gotten COVID and they're fine, but their baby was not in the womb. Your placenta can get sick and it can literally cause fetal loss. Any sickness. I'm talking about like any sickness ever. It's not just like, the chances are low, but look at all the 1% I was.
Oh my God.
All of those. I was the 1% for all of those.
Right.
Which is insane. Sorry, one of the cats are scratching at the door trying to get in. Yeah.
But yeah, no, the problem is that I feel like when you think of like 1%, like the 1%ers, or like you think of like 1% of people are affected by this, right? It's obviously like, I don't think it's genuinely 1% anymore. I think that's like old data. And even if it's not old, 1% seems very, very, very high still, because you can go on TikTok, you can go on Instagram, you can go on YouTube, and you're going to find
that 1%.
65 people that are the 1%.
Right. Which is a beautiful thing, because you don't feel so lonely.
Right.
But it's also hard because you feel like, why me? Why am I the 1%? And something that has bothered me also is I feel like I have the worst luck, and I don't want to feel like that, because I know that I don't have the worst luck, and there's a lot of things that I'm blessed with. But when you go through something so bad, it outweighs all the positives. Like, I know that I'm super lucky to have the job I have. I know I'm super lucky to have the husband I have. Most people do not have a husband like me, and their husband is whatever. But I know that I'm lucky to have these things, and I'm in the 1% in a lot of positive ways. Like, a lot of people don't have a successful career on YouTube no matter how much they try, and people, might not make as much money as me, or people might whatever. I know I'm the 1% in a lot of other ways, but I also feel like when I say 1%, I don't mean actually 1%. I'm talking like whatever. But a lot of people also have to realize is you never think it's going to be you. When I was like 13, I watched Shannon Rose go through her infertility journey, and I watched her go through IVF, and I never thought it was going to be me. Why would I think I have infertility? I'm healthy. I'm a normal weight. I've had a period that was completely regular my entire life. Never too painful, never super heavy. A period was nothing for me. I never understood when people said like, oh, I'm on my period, I don't feel good, or I'm on my period and I don't want to be on my period during vacation, and I don't want to be on my period during this. I never understood that. So yeah, you never think you're going to be the one, and then you end up being the one. And I might be talking to someone right now who might think nothing of this podcast, and maybe in 3 years try to get pregnant and can't, and we'll come back to these videos. You never think it's going to be you. And just like you never think it's going to be you or a family member that has cancer, and it's never going to be you or a family member that has a heart attack.
Yeah.
And when it happens, you start looking back at all of these things that you should have done and that you should have not done and that whatever, and the ways you could prevent it. And, oh, I should have known the signs. I should have went to the doctor sooner. And da-da-da-da-da. And no one thinks it's ever going to be them.
Right.
Ever.
That's true.
Which is a good thing. Because you don't want to live in fear.
That's what I was going to say. You don't want to live your whole life
no, you don't want to
walking on eggshells and
right.
stuff.
But you should be a little bit more empathetic with every situation because you don't know how it feels to be in that situation. And I've been trying to teach Josh that.
Yeah, it's coming from probably how a lot of you feel. It's hard to, everyone thinks they're an empath all of a sudden too, but you're not probably. Okay, so let's get that out of the way.
You're an empath. No, you just have feelings. Yeah, it doesn't mean you're an empath.
Right. Like, you probably are not an empath.
No, like you're probably not.
I don't know where that came from, but anyway, coming from the other side where it's like it is very hard because I'm like a lot of you, like it's very hard for me to be empathetic in situations that I've never dealt with before.
Well, you're even dealing with infertility firsthand with me and you still don't understand it.
Right.
Like I try to make him understand. I'm trying to imagine you had no sperm and you just
right.
Which it isn't the same though because I have eggs. So
right.
It's not even this.
It's hard.
I can't even.
It's hard to like be relatable when it comes to something that I'll never relate to.
Well, I do think you seeing Luca.
Oh man.
Now imagine.
Yes, I can never have him.
You could never have that
kid,
feeling again.
No, and that's the thing is it's like
scary.
And that's what I was just about to say is like after this experience, my thought process on a lot of these things has changed. And like so for example, like I've seen people have stillborn children and like back when I didn't want kids, right? Thought nothing of it. I was
just like, oh, that sucks, and you
move on,
which is
right,
valid.
It's valid, but
no, you can't. You're not going to sit there and be upset for someone you don't really know,
right? And
that's valid,
right? And it's like there's going to be some people that might have looked at that and been like, damn, like that is so sad, and like it almost like affected them a little bit. They're like, oh, it's so sad. And then there's some people that'll just scroll past and be like, oh shit, okay, see ya. Right. Yeah. And like not really care.
That's there's no problem with that.
Right. And it's like
you do that with every situation. Like
and it's crazy though, because I'm not saying that everybody has to be like in pain and like, oh my God, I can't even go to sleep because
if the world was like that, we'd all be not functioning because everyone has something going on.
But I still even need to learn how to be a little bit more empathetic. Like with this situation now, like if I ever saw somebody who struggled with infertility or miscarriage or God forbid a stillborn, I would be a lot more empathetic to that. I would be like, damn, like I genuinely know what you're going through, right? And that really sucks. And I'm trying to learn how to do that with a lot of other things too, and not even like where I feel like, oh man, I know exactly what you're going through. Just be a little more kinder. Yeah, that's all. I'm trying.
Yes, you are.
It's hard.
Yes.
It is hard.
I had a long talk with him because he's miserable.
Yeah. Oh, I'm such a prick. I'm such a miserable prick. I really am. It's like
just the smallest little inconvenience, he's like pissed at that person, and he does not mean to them directly. Like it's just like he'll never actually be mean to them.
Like in traffic, I'm not rolling down my window and be like, "Fucking asshole."
No, but in the car, he's huffing, puffing,
I'm
pissed, venting to me, and he never understood why it was a problem for me. He's like, "Why does it matter? I'm not being rude to them."
Yeah,
I'm like, because as a person, you don't want to have that like bitter.
It's like being surrounded by negativity.
Yeah, and no, but like even without me, why do you want to be so mean?
I know.
Even though they don't feel it, it's like, why do you want to live so angry?
I agree. I never did, right? It was like I didn't want to have like a short fuse or like I don't have a short fuse actually. I don't have a short temper with regular life stuff. He'll
never be mean to someone. Like even in a restaurant, if he's frustrated, he'll never be mean to like the person.
I'm very nice. Like, I'm a very nice person.
Yeah, you are.
And it's like I don't have a reason to be mean to people, but like my conversation with you was like, well, again, like why does it matter? Like I don't care. I'm just throwing a little hissy fit for like a couple minutes and then I'm done.
And in the big, you're right. It really doesn't matter because it's not hurting anyone.
Right, but it's hurting me.
And that's the thing. Yeah, it's still hurting you.
That's what you're getting at.
Yes.
Which I appreciate because you care.
Well, yeah, but you should care also. Why do you want to live like that?
I don't. But it's Yeah, no.
Everyone has their thing that's annoying.
Yeah.
Like, everyone.
Like,
everyone has their thing that annoys them.
Like mine's like slow drivers.
Yes, he doesn't like he has a lot of rage when it comes to traffic, which is fine.
It depends. Like my thing is if like someone's going below the speed limit and they're like in front of me and they won't move, I'm like,
right. But it's like, imagine it was like your grandma.
I know. I think about that too, and then I just don't care.
And she had a bad day, or
I know.
She doesn't have her husband around to drive her anymore because he passed away. It's she has no other. Who else is gonna drive her?
I know.
And she can, like.
I know it's so easy to think about it afterwards. But in the moment,
and that's
I'm just
human
like,
nature. It's human nature.
But have I not been getting better in
Yes,
traffic?
yes.
Have you noticed that?
Yes, you have.
I've been trying.
Yes.
I've been like, because remember even the other day we were driving and someone was just like, and you even were like, oh, I'm surprised you're not like pissed off right now.
And
I'm
it's
like,
the same
I
way,
am.
like even when we first started dating,
Yeah.
every comment would just piss you off.
Oh man, yeah.
But then you have to grow as a person and be like, I can't let this affect me. Just like I've talked about how comments of infertility or people giving me advice annoys me, but I don't let it completely ruin my whole day.
That's what I mean. Like,
I can't.
You'll still be upset at it, and it's the
Right,
same thing
and
with me.
that's fine.
I'm still gonna be upset at slow drivers, but it's just like how you react is what makes the difference, right? It's identical to the comments thing, because like when we first started dating and people would leave like rude comments and stuff, I'm like, damn. That's fucking
and
shit.
you're like, who cares? It's not affecting anyone, but it's affecting you.
Right,
which
but
in turn will affect everything you do and everyone around you.
But it used to eat up my whole fucking...
Oh, yeah. He was like, I want to get their IP address. I want to find them.
Oh, man.
I know.
But
I get it.
nowadays,
Trust me.
like, it still bugs you. It's just like,
I've been doing this for 10 years, and there's comments that I'll read to you, and it drives me nuts. Some of them I'll respond to.
Yeah, I know.
Which I shouldn't.
I know.
But when it comes to, like, something that's so touchy to me, I need to.
Yeah, like, don't be like below a video and be like, just adopt, see what happens when you
Which I want to talk about that a little bit more.
Because go ahead.
Adopting isn't for the infertility community. Adopting is for people that want to adopt.
Correct.
It's
Agreed.
Not for the infertility community. It's just not.
But
it's not our responsibility to take care of your children that you didn't want.
Right.
It's not.
But what I love the fucking most is that the people saying this have never adopted a child.
Right. So why didn't you adopt before you tried to get pregnant?
Like, fuck. Just do it then.
Yeah.
If you're so passionate about it.
Yeah. It just doesn't make sense.
See how easy it is.
It
to
doesn't
adopt.
make any sense.
Yeah.
Imagine someone who adopted looked at you and was like, why'd you have your own natural baby?
Dude.
Why? Why did you have a baby? Why was it so important to you to have a natural biological baby? Why don't you just adopt? I'm adopting. Why don't you just adopt?
Good for you.
Adopting is a beautiful thing.
It is. I'm not taking away from it.
No, it's a beautiful thing. But it takes a strong person to adopt.
Yes, it does.
And I'm just not that person.
Like, don't be upset.
I want a baby that looks like me and my husband and is made from pure love.
Yeah,
I just want that.
Like, don't be upset at the fact that some people just don't have the same agenda as you.
And the problem is you can't be all pro-choice until it's my choice to have my natural baby, and now you're not pro-choice.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
You can't. You can't say you're pro-choice, and then the moment I want my own baby, it's not my choice anymore.
Yeah, then it's adopt.
And then it's pro-choice also. So then when people choose to put their child up for adoption, you want me to have to choose to adopt the child.
Right.
That makes no sense.
Right.
You can't be, well, this person can have an abortion if they want, but I can't have my own baby if I want. That makes no fucking sense.
Right.
Like, please think about it before you say it.
I also want to compare something. You know, like, so this was on a lot of like the IVF stuff when like you were talking about IVF and you talk about like, remember that short you made and it was like how much money it was, how long it took, how many injections. Remember that one?
Yes.
And like a lot of the comments were saying like, oh, just adopt. What the fuck? Like, imagine all the money, just adopt, whatever. Okay. So why not just rent?
Yeah. Why buy a house when you can rent it?
Yeah, just rent. You're helping someone else out.
Yeah,
why not just
why not?
rent? Why go work?
Facts.
Why not go work hard and spend money on your own house when you can just rent one?
Right. That's facts.
I'm not saying adoption is renting.
It's not. And do I believe that you can treat and love an adopted child like your own?
Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely. That's not what I'm saying,
No.
though. It's
like 100%. We like, and maybe when I have my own natural child, maybe I'll be like, you know what? Because I went through all this, I would love to adopt.
right. But I'm not, listen, I don't want anybody, because fuck. You always gotta.
People are gonna take this and fucking spend.
They're like, how are you?
Oh, the comments on this.
Oh man,
are gonna be just.
How are you gonna compare adopting to renting and owning? Oh, fuck off. You get what I'm saying? I'm giving you an analogy.
Seriously?
Oh my.
Like seriously.
We're getting mad at comments that aren't even left.
They're
yet.
gonna be there though.
But they're there.
And they're still they're there right now.
Yep.
The people watching this video can scroll right now.
Yep.
And see 25.
Yep. And that. Listen. And that's what
Fuck
I'm saying.
you.
It's like, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
No, literally. I've been doing this shit for 10 fucking years. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Not you if you love me. Hi, I love you too. But fuck you. If you're writing a comment right now, all fucking pissed off at the world, fuck you. Right?
Yeah.
I know you're hearing me as you're writing
Yeah.
it too. Like, fuck
But I want you
you
to hear every syllable of that.
Yes.
Fuck you. Exactly. 2 of them. So anyway, but yeah, I'm not comparing adopting to renting and owning. I'm just giving an analogy to make it make sense. It's like think about it though. Like you can't say adopt if you've never fucking adopted. And even if you have, good for you. That's not for us.
Right.
Like that's it.
Just like some people don't want kids.
I'm not going to be like, no, have kids.
No.
Just have kids.
You need to have kids. How selfish of you to not use your eggs. That's
We're
so
on a
selfish.
population decline and some women can't have kids and you're just choosing not to.
Like,
dude.
Like, really.
Really.
Like, for real.
For real.
I'm just pissed.
I know.
People are also like, why would you, like, don't spend all that money. There's starving kids in Africa. And I'm like, I'm so confused right now.
Yeah, listen, then if they can use that analogy, I can use mine.
Yeah, you can. Because they were comparing me doing IVF to taking that money. And they're like, oh my God. Some people commented. Oh, this one girl commented. She goes, I don't understand how people want a child that bad. I got pregnant by accident and I don't want it. I was like, oh. You're like, yeah, I don't see you in person, bitch.
Nah, that's crazy.
And she did it on her real account too.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And then someone commented, they said, I can't believe women go through all this just to please a man.
Please a man?
And I'm like, what the fuck are you? Like, actually, though, some people leaving comments.
It's funny.
Like,
They're laughable.
Sometimes I'm like, I'll pray for you because there's something not right about you, sis.
I mean, it's the same comments that thought, like, remember the ones that thought I was forcing you to do OF?
Oh my God.
I will never forget. Oh, it's like he's her pimp. What? I mean,
he's the only man that ever let me do it. That's why I just decided to do it when I was with him. I've been wanting to do OnlyFans for
years, yeah.
Years. Yeah. Like, years.
Yeah.
Since it started.
Yeah.
But I wasn't allowed.
Yeah. And this was something we agreed upon before we got together. So, it was,
yes.
Yeah, anyway, that's a separate thing.
You know what was funny, though? Today, so Josh has a podcast of his own. And he was talking about morals today.
It's failing. Go.
It's not failing. He was talking about how, like, he wouldn't allow, well, in our relationship, I guess I should say, we don't agree with having, like, new opposite gender, or, sorry, the gender you're attracted to.
Yeah.
Friends. Like, new ones.
Like, you're already
like, you don't make
together.
like, if I made a new friend right now that was a man.
Yeah, no.
He would be like, absolutely not.
Right.
Well, I thought it was funny because I'm like, dude, your wife
does OF.
Yeah,
and that was addressed. And I said,
oh, it was?
Yes, it was brought up. And they're like, well, you know, what's the difference? And I said, it's a big difference because it's not in person. I don't see it. I'm not seeing what's going on behind those dudes' phone screens.
That is true.
I'm not sitting
there. But a lot
like,
of people's morals would not allow their wife
and that's
to
fine. And I said that. I said morally.
It's just, I just thought it was funny.
Yeah, it seems almost
because you're
weird.
Like giving advice on morals, and your wife is just for like 500 men.
No, but that's.
I mean, it's my husband's. So.
Right, but they use an example actually, and I got what they were getting at. I wasn't like, I'm not stupid. I'm understanding.
Yes, and I think that's why people like watching us.
Right, I'm not trying to. I'm not dismissing your point. Yeah, I'm not like fucking. I'm not trying to.
Everyone has their things. Everyone has.
Yes. But I was saying they're like, well, what if she was a no contact stripper?
Right.
And I said, well, that's different because she's there with them in person and they're watching her.
But then people might.
Right, and they might be okay with that. But I use the example of like, we do OF. Mm-hmm. The video gets posted and people buy it and then I'm over it. I'm like, neither here nor there.
Right.
Right? It's like, it's like the example of like, imagine you were posting OF, but instead of like doing it online, like there was a group of guys behind you just watching you do it. That's so different. That's so different.
Right, to you, but to some people it might not be.
Okay, and then I thought about this. I said, imagine you're live streaming like I was at the time, and there was, let's say there's 50 people there.
Right, it means nothing, but if in person you were talking
if you were public speaking in front of 50 people, you probably shit a brick.
Yes.
It's way different.
I understand, but to everyone it might not be.
Right. And that's what I said. I respected the argument. I respected the debate. And to you, it might make sense. But to me, I had my...
Right, because also, you allow me to do... Well, not allow. Well, yeah, you do allow. I know people are going to be like, he doesn't own you. What do you mean?
Girl, do whatever you want.
No.
That's not what
I'm not going to go against my husband and say, I'm going to go post myself naked.
Right.
Without your permission. Frankly.
Right.
I'm just not.
Right.
And that might, once again, not be in everyone's relationship to get permission from somebody.
But that works for us.
And yeah. If he says, I want you to stop doing OF, I would stop doing OF.
Yeah, it just works.
But my point was, you let me do OF, but you would never let me collab outside of it. But some people would.
Absolutely fucking not.
I know.
Yeah, no.
I know. No. But that's what I'm saying is everyone's different because some people will allow their significant other even to go and collab.
No.
I understand.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm just reiterating.
Mad. He's just pissed.
Yeah, let's get one thing for sure. And mind you,
and that's what we're saying is just
you've never brought that up. You've never wanted to. You've never wanted to go out and collab because that would be an issue. Number one, but
right. But that's just an example of how every relationship has different things that are okay and that are not.
Yes, exactly.
And Josh talks about that on his podcast, so if you want to watch it, you should. Because he talks about how some things, and it's not, he's not trying to tell you how to.
I'm not a therapist, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a lawyer.
He's literally talking to debate, really.
Yes. I'm giving advice, I'm giving opinions just from me.
Right. And then a lot of the conversation is literally debating on whether.
Yeah, that's what I want. I want to openly debate. Or seeing other people's
experiences and how they feel.
Like I always said, I'm like, just because
there's no right or wrong.
There's no right or wrong. Honestly, there's no right or wrong in a lot of things unless we're talking like scientific. But like proof, a verifiable fact. But I'm saying like morally, there's really no right or wrong if you and your partner agree on that.
But if you don't agree, that's the problem.
Right. And I said, and this is why I'm such a big advocate for talking about things before you get into a relationship to make sure you got a good read of that person. Where you're not 2 years in and like, oh, fuck, I really don't like that they're doing that. And now they won't stop because that's who they are.
Right.
And you didn't discuss it.
Right.
That's all I talk about. So, yeah. Anyway, we just kind of spun off a little bit there, but that's okay.
Whatever. That's what the podcast is.
That's it. We have no agenda. We have no...
How long have we been recording?
An hour.
That's it?
Well, it feels longer?
Yeah. I always feel like they're longer.
I feel like because it's like I don't know. I had to take a couple step outs and whatever just to... But, man, I don't know. I feel like it's been an hour. I mean, that's long.
I could keep talking. That's the problem.
That's fine.
Well, me and you talk all day.
We're not on a time frame.
You know what's crazy is me and Josh literally work together, are home together all day. We even go to the grocery store together half the time.
Yeah.
And we still have shit to talk about.
That is weird.
That is insane. Because sometimes me and him will just be in a debate in our living room.
All the time.
For like 3 hours.
Not even sometimes. All the time. All the time.
Yeah, and we're not arguing. Like, we're literally like, here's my side, here's your side.
I love that we debate. I love that. Because
and guess who's always right?
Me. It's crazy. You wouldn't have thought that was the answer, but it is me.
You know it's me.
But
you know it's me.
But listen, it depends. Like, it depends on the debate.
Yeah, you're right.
I am
You're actually right a lot of the time.
I know.
Sucks.
I know.
Sucks for my ego. Bad.
Yeah.
Like, bad.
But
like, as a wife, being wrong seems illegal.
But it's like one of those things where it's like, I think debating is healthy, and I think it spices things up a little bit, because if we just agreed with each other all the time, all day, every day about everything,
on the important things.
We agree on the key basis of our relationship and morals and boundaries and everything.
Right.
Like, but I'm talking about just like debates that aren't going to affect our relationship. I love them.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying we don't debate about relationship
like
stuff.
We're debating on stuff that doesn't even affect us.
Exactly. And that's healthy. And people might disagree. I think it's very healthy to debate.
Well, it's healthy if you know how to not
fly off the fucking wall.
I think that's a mature thing too, because like 5 years ago, I'd probably lose my mind.
Yeah, but that also...
Maybe not 5 years ago.
But it also it depends on, like... I feel like when you're debating with somebody, what turns it into an argument is how you both learn to respond. it's not what you're talking about. It's that
You're better at responding than me. I still have an attitude.
yeah, I have a calmer response than you. Yeah, and it's I don't know where that came. You know where that came from? That came from working with people
and having to deal with them
because they would be yelling and screaming at somebody, and then when I step in to try to take care of it, I have to bring it down because I'm not going to match them.
I will say Josh is a perfect match for me because I have a bad attitude.
Yeah.
And I'm a very strong, and I don't want to say this to like toot my own horn, but I'm a very strong woman.
Strong-headed, yeah.
Strong-headed, stubborn.
Yes.
Also, I'm like, I don't need you. I could do this by myself. And I actually can do it by myself, which hurts a lot of men's ego.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, to know that I don't depend on a man financially is a huge thing that men don't like.
Like, I don't think you depend on me in a lot of aspects. Like, I'm talking.
I am codependent.
You're codependent. You're codependent in some regard, but like for the majority of like.
No, like I don't need.
No, you don't need me for anything, really.
Which for men, they want to feel needed, and a woman wants to feel wanted.
I feel like we still have that.
Yeah, we do,
though.
But that's what I'm saying is you're a man, so you don't take things like you're not like, oh, because she doesn't need me to hang up this picture doesn't mean she doesn't need me in other ways.
Right, but
other
it'll hurt
boys
them. It'll hurt their ego.
Will hurt their ego.
But even if we have a relationship like that, it's like, for example, she's like, oh, I don't need him to build this for me, but I know that I'm still gonna do it, and you're still gonna appreciate that.
Right.
Like it doesn't mean that my responsibilities as a husband go out the window.
Right.
It means that I know you don't need me to do, but I'll still do it.
Well, I just want to say this for all the other strong, independent women out there. I really thought I was the problem all the time. In every single one of my relationships, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm such a bitch. I'm such, like, what is wrong with me? Like, what the fuck? But then I was with someone who matched me. And I'm like.
I'm with
them. And now I'm like, oh, I just wasn't matched.
Right.
Well,
yeah.
Because I genuinely, I mean, I'm sure you could ask any of my exes. They probably hate me. She's a bitch. She's this, she's that. But then I matched, and you would think absolutely not.
Right.
Hopefully.
No, it's.
You're like, nah, you're a bitch.
No, but I think like that's one of the key positive takeaways of having exes.
True.
It's a positive takeaway of like
learn stuff.
You learn about yourself. You learn about.
But I learned all. I'm sorry to say it, but I wasn't the problem.
No, but I'm saying that like that's the positive takeaways because you know what type of personality you don't mesh well with.
That's facts.
Right? Like you spend, and that's what I mean. Like it's okay to be with like your high school sweetheart or whatever and like learn about that. Yeah. But like if you have the dating experience, there's nothing wrong with that because then you could look back and say, I know I don't like this.
Oh, you learn stuff in every relationship.
Right. And it's good because you take away those things to make your next relationship even better.
Right.
Right? And don't be that person.
Every single one of your significant others should be better because...
You should be leveling up.
But I'm saying matched better with you. Doesn't mean they're better as a person.
Correct.
I'm saying matched better for you.
Right. No, I agree. Like you need to... every single
crazy podcast.
Yeah, it's all fucking all over the place. Every single relationship you should be trying to match yourself better, like
right.
You know,
we should talk about that on your podcast.
Yeah, that's cool.
Anyways, we should end this before we get on to another topic.
Yeah, we're really spitting here. So anyway, you could close it out. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you so much for watching. If you guys haven't watched the other two, I highly recommend it. If you honestly just play it while you're cooking, cleaning, in the car, driving, working out, just like it's useful. I don't know. And if you guys have any other topics you want us to touch on, it doesn't have to be couple related. It could be anything. Couple stuff and like relationship stuff is more on Josh's. So if you want to talk about that, you can go over to his podcast. But yeah, anyways, I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna go make a charcuterie board and I'll see you in the next video podcast. Bye.